there is an empty seat in Ohio. Nina Turner. Do we know when this the primary is?
I looked it up the other day, and I think it's in the summer. Let me check.
Okay.
I think I saw June, but wait, look, here it is in my past search history, because I do my research on this show, and okay, May 4th, 2020. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Per Ohio law, the primary would likely be held on either May 4th or August 3rd, both concurrent with a regularly scheduled primaries, with the general election on either August 3rd or November 2nd. So there's two possible dates for the primary.
One would think that they would have already settled on it if it's not, May is only I guess it's 4 months away. But here's Nina Turner. She's on the Humanist Report. And she's walking through the dynamics that are involved in what was called Force the Vote, and trying to explain that the perception that people have of inside power is maybe sometimes wrong.
It's okay to be disappointed, but the squad is ultimately the best that we have in terms of being able to push an agenda. And what that means is that you might not always agree with the methods. I need people to understand that when you are on the inside, it doesn't mean that you are selling out. I know they've gotten a lot of pressure, but they are the ones up there holding it down. They're pushing as hard as they can. And just because things are not going exactly the way, just because they're not using the exact tactics that some in the activist community want them to use, that doesn't mean that you throw them away. Because guess what? If you're throwing away members of the squad who are our best opportunity to get what we need, and also some members of that progressive caucus, then you're not going to have anybody there. So if the prerequisite, in summation, if the prerequisite for relationship means that I have to do, or the squad has to do everything you say, the way you say do it, then there's not much of a relationship at all. And that you're going to be disappointed. Hell, they're going to be disappointed with me. I said that to Tim Black when we interviewed. I'm saying it to you, Mike. I want them to know you're going to be disappointed at some point. But that does not mean that you give up totally on the people who are the best fighting chance that you have. And then there's something called strategy. So the grassroots strategy is different than the strategy once you are on the inside. You will know when somebody is sold out. And I assure you that the squad has not, underline, bold, underscore, sold out in any way. They need the grassroots. You can hold them accountable, but you don't throw them away. I mean, some of the pressures, even with Congresswoman Cori Bush, I just want to use her as the example. I mean, she just got there. Hell, overall, the squad members overall just got there, even the ones who've been there a little longer. And then you have people just throwing up their hands, throwing them away just because they're not using the tactics that you want them to use. You don't know what is going on.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I'm so mad that Nina Turner even had to comment on this, because, she says it's coming from some in the activist community. It did not come out of the activist community. It came out of a few media figures who made a lot of noise online, and, the people who follow them on Twitter.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think it's generous for her to say activist. But
and it's generous for her to basically give them that they're acting in good faith. I mean, a lot of this is not good faith criticism. A lot of this is for attention and to, as they've said in those Slack comments, divide the progressive left in order to build up their third party project.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, yes, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think but her point is she's talking to the people who are following them on Twitter, as opposed to, those people. I think, those people have their agenda, or they have their perspective. But I would love to add to her comment there, but there is literally nothing I can add to that. That's exactly the case. I mean, and the bottom line is, you don't want any institutional power if you are on the left and you are saying that we are willing to boot the members of the squad, for the lack of a better term. I mean, you just don't.
Look, I have no problem with holding the squad accountable. And I think the kind of, I don't know, sanctimony that some people feel towards them, where they're just like sacred cows you can't criticize, is nonsense. But not over something like this. Like, let's wait until they actually do something that sucks to rake them over the coals.
I think it's also like, I also think though, I mean, I think it's okay to criticize, but over this, to say that you are writing them off, that they are fraudulent, that they are good for nothing, that they are not on your side, that's the difference. Like, I mean, that
AOC is standing in the way of healthcare and
right.
you in healthcare.
It's just absurd. It's just absurd. But I mean, good for her, because, you know, she's a
force, and she would be such an amazing addition to the squad and to the progressive community and group of lawmakers in terms of her fight. But is she a sellout now because she didn't endorse the specific tactic? And again, I'm sorry, it's not a coincidence that a lot of these allegations about sellout and selling out and not capitulating to a specific guy's exact tactics, it's not a coincidence that they're more often than not directed at women and women of color. And that's the dynamic that I get. And I'm sure that those same people will be as vitriolically angry at Nina Turner as they were to Ocasio-Cortez and others, because that's a common thread that we experience,
I will say
that we see. Yeah.
I will say I am skeptical that she went on those shows before coming on this one. So I'll just leave it there. I just think that's a really ominous sign. That's a really ominous sign.
Are you preemptively pulling your support from that fraud?
Look, you know, it's like, how do you not look at? How do you not come here? Look at this.
Did we invite her?
UNS report doesn't have a.
Did we invite her? Did we invite her?
No, I generally, I've been like trying to figure out, there's a bunch of candidates that I want to have on actually. Yeah. And for the most part, we don't do that on this show, but I'm trying to figure out like when's the best time, and I want to do it soon, where we have like maybe like 3 candidates on to talk about, you know.
My point though, Sam, is that she's a sellout for not asking to come on this show.
That's exactly my point.
Right.
And that's why I was pointing back to this. Like this, how do you not? How do you not? Like when you got this, look, I mean, come on.
Maybe you need to jazz up the studio with some snazzy Gen X style. Because I hear Nina likes that.
We're at peak of all that. We're already there. That's my point.